Law and Public Safety Committee meeting Monday, I'm sorry, not April. Hmm. May
May the 4th.
4th, 2026. Councilwoman Saretha Brown,
Present.
Councilwoman Trina Carter,
Present.
Councilwoman Phyllis Baber.
Present.
We have 3 who are present. We do have a quorum. Does everybody's agenda say April 6th?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I will go and change that. I apologize. It is approximately 5:43 p.m.
All right. Councilwoman Carter, would you like to pray for us today? I did.
Take an attitude of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together today. We thank you for all the blessings that you have given us, those that we recognize and those we have not yet recognized. We ask that you keep us, keep our minds on you and on the business that you have given us the responsibility for. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Yeah. A motion to accept the previous Law and Safety Committee meetings minutes of April the 6th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Do we have a vote? Everybody
I
cast a
second it.
vote.
Been moving second. All in favor? Aye.
Do we have a question?
No.
Oh.
I just want to be able to hear you for the minutes. Transcriptions.
Oh.
Just speak into the microphone. Thank you.
Aye.
All right. New business. We do not have Woodlawn Fire Department here right now, or are they not coming? Okay, that's fine. All right, that's fine. We can move on if we want to read over the report, or we can move on to the Hamilton County Sheriff Department report. We can move on to your report if you would like.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I'll start with February. This was the report at the last meeting that I did not have prepared, and I apologize. So going back to February, criminal report summaries. Total amount of criminal reports taken was 14. There was 1 felony arrest, 5 misdemeanor arrests, 11 warrant arrests, and no minor misdemeanors or stolen vehicle recoveries. Non-criminal reporting, there were 17 total. 5 of those were being medical reports, 2 deceased person reports, and then 10 non-criminal reports. Parking violations, officers were dispatched to 10. 3 were officer initiated, totaling 13. And then miscellaneous statistics, we had crime prevention contacts, which was 556, 6 arrest assists, and then 18 times we assisted other departments. For traffic enforcement, 15 citations were issued and 60 warnings. And for the month of April, criminal report summary, there were 17 criminal reports taken. There was 9 misdemeanor arrests, 4 minor misdemeanor arrests, 29 warrant citations, and then no felony arrest or stolen vehicles recovered. Non-criminal reports, there were 4 medical reports and 9 non-criminal reports, no deceased person reports taken. That was 13 total. For parking complaints, there was 5 initiated by officers, dispatched to 12, totaling 17. Crime prevention checks for April, we were at 489. Arrest assist was 13, and assistance to other departments was 22. Traffic enforcement, 29 citations were given and 43 warnings. That is for the month of April.
Would be interesting, except for I can't see it.
I believe attached was the runs. I don't know if those usually go on there or not. It's all the runs that come from the communication center.
I have a question.
Yes.
When it says there are 221 billable calls,
Yes.
what does that mean?
Those are, I believe, the runs that are billed to Lincoln Heights.
So is it a different bill than the contract, within the contract?
Not to my understanding, no.
Okay. All right, I got a couple things that I would like to bring to your attention. I'm not sure if anyone has spoke with you, not sure how I'm supposed to go about this, but there are some things that are happening with, I won't say officers, but because we don't hold each other accountable, we have to say officers.
Okay.
Officer Lawson has been repeatedly disrespectful, dismissive. He shows no intent on protecting and/or serving this community. I don't want to have anybody's job, but because we are a unique community and we may not be like other communities, we need to have people here that's willing to protect and serve us for who we are and the way that we are. And he keeps showing repeatedly that he's not up for that job. So I don't think he should not have a job. I don't think that he should have a place here. He can patrol anywhere else. He can work for the sheriffs anywhere else, but I don't think that he should be here. And it's for a number of reasons, but more than anything for safety. Safety for him and safety for the residents, because you cannot poke a bear and think because you wear a badge that that's supposed to protect you. Because when you're not honoring your badge, you just now become a citizen, right? And I love my residents, and I think everybody should go home to their loved ones, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that something is brewing. He's called me out by name. He's called other people out by name in a way that, yeah, I see you. I'm watching you. Things keep happening, right? And I think it needs to be addressed. I back in February had a run-in with him personally.
Okay.
It was very uncomfortable. It was very. It was just bad. And even after I made clear that I was a council member, he gave me the thumbs up as if to say, okay, Ann. And if you're not respecting even council, I know you're not respecting the residents, right?
Okay.
So it needs to be handled. And we could talk about that, but I wanted to bring it up because, and on ICRC, because I want my residents to know that I'm not saying it and not acting on it, right? And the only way that they can really know is if I bring it up in meeting, that now they can see that I really did present this to you, and now we can wait for the next step.
Absolutely. My response would be the sheriff's office always has put themselves out as being courteous and kind to everybody they come in contact with. So if there is an issue, I would like to speak with you about given times that these have happened. So we can definitely look into that. There is a system that the sheriff's office goes through to report misconduct of nature. So yeah, sometime I would definitely like to get with you to discuss these concerns.
Okay, thank you so much. Anybody else?
Just off of that, is there a way, like if there is something that happens, what should residents do?
So to file a complaint, you can either come up to the district and speak to a supervisor. They'll direct them to, you can either fill one out, or it's easy enough to go onto the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office website and file a complaint that way.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. All right, I guess we're moving right on along to Mr. Village Manager Gaines Brown.
Should we accept those?
Oh, I'm sorry,
have
we
to
should accept these. I'm sorry, we should accept these.
I'll make the motion that
Reports.
we accept the reports.
Thank you very much.
Seconded.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Manager, would you like me to proceed? Okay. So there were some questions that were brought up in the last Law and Public Safety meeting, And some of these were addressed in the council meeting that we had afterward, at the first council meeting in April. But I want to make sure to also share those updates here for the record. So with respect to Bricker Gray and Wyatt LLP, a la carte legal services, as I shared in previous meetings, the monthly retainer is currently at 9,000, and that is for all of the services that were out of the scope that were added in. And there was going to be a renegotiation after 3 months, so that way we can determine the volume of work. And as a part of that, there are some considerations associated with prosecutorial services within Mayor's Court. The recommendation was to proceed with the prosecutor that we currently have contracted, to retain him and be able to proceed in that fashion, rather than have Bricker, Graydon, and Wyatt move to provide those services for Mayor's Court. And as a result of that, the monthly retainer will be decreased from it'll be decreased from 9,000 to about 8,000. And as I mentioned, a lot of this stuff we're currently working through the volume of work we're looking at legislation, contract review, as we are currently going to be in process of reviewing some pretty big contracts, specifically a contract with Woodlawn Fire Department and Hamilton County Sheriff's Office specifically. Those are our two largest expenditures in terms of vendor contracts. And so as we're working through the volume of work, there will be a period in which we renegotiate based on the volume of work that we have thus far. And then from there, we will be able to renegotiate the monthly retainer for that purpose. Any questions with that? So that way I know I can take that before I move on to the next item.
Madam Chair, Village Manager Brown, can you repeat the section you discussed about Mayor's Court? Can you
Yes. I cannot remember the gentleman's name. I've only seen him maybe like a handful of times. The current prosecutor for Mayor's Court that was contracted through Vigel and Popperkirk that provides prosecutorial services for Mayor's Court. The recommendation was to keep him on because he's familiar with our systems, he's familiar with the village, and that would be a cost savings for our purposes as we keep him on. So that way our monthly retainer with Bricker, Graydon, and Wyatt has a possibility of decreasing as we are looking at the volume of work that they're doing for us specifically.
Okay, his name, it's Prosecutor John Coleman.
Mr. Coleman, yes. Thank you for sharing that. So our prosecutor, attorney John Coleman, the recommendation is to keep him on because of his familiarity and his expertise. And so because of that, it is likely that our monthly retainer with Bricker, Graydon, and Wyatt will decrease, because that was something that was added in as we are looking at like the scope of work with the contract with Bricker, Graydon, and Wyatt. And so just sharing that so that way, because that was something that came up in a conversation that I had with our current solicitor. And he will be present at the next council meeting. Yes.
Just a clarifying question. So he would be working the legislation piece that we were speaking about, or just, because I think that was the main thing. So Mr. Coleman will be working.
He'll be working with.
I mean, not saying just that, but that with that piece as well.
Yes, Mr. Coleman. The recommendation is to retain Mr. Coleman's services as our prosecutor for Mayor's Court. So all the other items, specifically legislation, contract review, et cetera, the things that were within the scope of work for the contract with Bricker and Graydon and Wyatt will be facilitated through Mr. Yoder. You all will be able to meet him at the next council meeting on May 11th. Any other questions for that item? Okay. I'll move with the follow-up on how traffic tickets and citations are handled. So remember, this was a point of conversation within our previous law and public safety meeting. I did some review on the contract that we have with Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and I believe it was renewed in 2023. And there was no like specific language on how tickets and citations would be issued. And I want to acknowledge that that is going to be part of our discussion when we're talking about contract renewal. And because it's not included within the contract, the default is to automatically take it to Hamilton County. And so for that reason, all the citations and tickets would go to Hamilton County.
Clarifying question.
Yes.
Were we not told that it was brought, it was spoke, and it was shot down?
By whom?
Deepak Desai, when I asked it originally about how or why did that make sense that we pay $1 billion bill but the tickets go downtown, where's the revenue to help us be able to afford this, right? And he said that basically when he presented it to their lawyer, the lawyer basically said, oh no, we're not doing that. And they were adamant with saying that they were not doing it. So I guess my question was, if there's nothing in the writing, or does that mean that the contract was just written in the way that they wanted it, or does that mean that they didn't ask for it, or are you privy to that information?
So as it pertains to the negotiations that took place for the previous renewal, I'm not privy to that information. I can go in and ask some further questions associated with that with Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and we should have some files. Currently doing file transfer from our previous legal representation, but regardless of that fact, the contract as it exists currently, that was renewed upon approval by council. So any questions, any recommendations, or anything like that came from those previous renewal discussions, that was approved by the governing body that was here in 2023. Okay. But as we're looking for renewal, that will certainly be a topic of conversation as well, because we would like to retain that revenue for certain. We would like to have that language within the contract. But as it was constructed and then approved through council in 2023, that language wasn't included.
I guess I was wondering on the strength that we could look into what the language is, and that way we would know what to come with, what we're up against then, so we know how to combat it today. So that was a part of the reason why I asked, was there any way that you can find out?
Yeah, and as I mentioned, we're currently doing the file transfer from previous legal firm to our current, and we'll do some digging associated with that as we are looking to have those conversations. The contract is scheduled to term, I believe, on December 31st, 2026, and we're going to be moving towards review of that contract and seeing, what we would like to have as part of that for potential renewal.
Okay. Madam Chair, I have a question. Actually, I have a couple of questions, Mr. Brown. So, from my understanding of what Mr. Desai said, he was saying that Hamilton County Sheriff's basically said, this is what we do for every for everybody that we do services for. This is what we do, period. So as we look, can we look to see if that is actually the case, which is already what Ms. Brown, Councilwoman Brown said, but also can we be proactive and kind of look around at other options? Since this is the contract year, can we see what other options we may have?
Absolutely.
And I don't know if they looked around at that time. I really don't know. Did we look at how much Woodlawn would charge us, or et cetera?
Yeah, for sure. And that's something that we can look into to do our due diligence as we are looking for renegotiation of this contract specifically, in terms of like the scope of services that is provided, whether that is in excess or there remains like opportunities for improvement, like that is something that we can certainly look into as far as like our options for public safety. Because of that, I also want to acknowledge the fact that Hamilton County Sheriff's Office is not required to be a revenue generator for the village. And that is precisely what Mr. Desai was saying at the previous Law and Public Safety Committee meeting, because if that is something that is common practice among municipalities that they serve, that is the understanding as the agreements are authorized or voted on by council. And so as we're looking for, renewal and having these ongoing discussions for the remainder of the year, we're going to do our due diligence to have those conversations and see, what works best for the village. I don't think that it's listed here, and perhaps that'll be something that'll be discussed within the finance committee meeting. But currently getting some information from our public entities pool for insurance purposes for public safety, because I know that there remains some interest to have our own police and fire department.
That's right.
And so I've been in conference with them. They are sharing some materials, I think, tomorrow.
Okay.
So that we'll be able to see what it was in 2014 or 2015 when things transitioned from our own police department in Lincoln Heights to contracting with Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. There were some insurance considerations as of why, but it's been about 10 to 11 years since then, and we're going to go back and see what options are available for us. So I'll bring that up again in Finance Committee meeting, but we're currently in conference with the insurance public entities pool for that purpose. Update on handicap parking near Mariana Terrace. And so I've contacted, I've done my own research with Cages, looking up parcel numbers to see who owns what, just so that way I can get a thorough understanding of who to contact. And as it appears in Cages, I think, firm within Dallas, Texas owns that property.
Mariana Terrace.
Yes. So I believe it's called Lumen or something like that. Now I've reached out to them, but I haven't received a response at this point in time. And I've also contacted CMHA for this purpose, and they're saying they do not own that property. But when I look at what is listed on Cages, it shows that Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority are the owners of the property. So
It's,
yeah,
I believe they just sold it.
CMHA. Okay.
They sold it last year or 2 years ago because a couple people I know live down there, and their landlord is they actually call the landlord. Like, it's not,
No one's physically present.
he comes.
Oh, okay.
I can get the number for you though.
Okay.
And we can do it that way.
All right, great. And so trying to work through the who's who of the property ownership, property management is something I'm currently working through. And so once I have that, I'll be able to move on handicap parking for Mariana Terrace specifically.
So I have a question about that too.
Yes.
When Love Court is already marked, there's already a sign for handicap parking. So it was actually Councilwoman at the time, Councilwoman Key, who said maybe we could have that painted so that it can be enforced.
Got it.
But then the sister of the resident who brought that to my attention in the first place lives a block over on Shivers Court, and that is not designated as handicap. So she wanted to know, and I would like to know, how will we go about getting that, because she also is handicapped, and the three residents right there in that corner, how will we go about getting that designated? Would that be a village thing, or would that be whoever owns it now. Well, I guess it's still CMHA, but so
Yeah.
if you don't know the answer right now, that's fine. But literally, that's where I was
Just
at
add that to your
525.
list when we do get in contact with the young man or whomever the property manager is, not the owner, it's the property manager.
Got it.
Just adding that to your list of courts to say, hey, basically, is your handicap residence, do they have a handicap accessible parking?
Right.
And going from there and saying, hey, we don't have a problem with painting the ground or putting out the signs, but we don't want to just do it if that's not what you want.
Agreed. Yeah, so I'm going to reach out again to the property management. Like I said, it's been a rigmarole just trying to get on the phone with someone, but we're going to do some further digging on that, and I'm hoping to have an update prior to our next meeting, because I also understand, it's important. It's kind of timely. I want to move on this pretty quickly. We do have paint, we do have signs, and if we don't have it, we can certainly get what we need for that purpose. I just want to make sure this is something that the property owners are considering prior to, using any public funds for something that should be taken care of privately.
Right.
Okay. With respect to abandoned cars near 844 Beale Street, so there have been. Let me before I even get into all of that, I just want to share for the record and for those watching online that we do have a code enforcement officer, and her name is Tamara Wynn. She's currently getting up to speed with everything associated with previously outstanding code violations. And I want to say for the record that because there has been some start and stops with code enforcement, it may be unusual to see, stickers on people's cars that are parked on the street that have been there for however long. There's going to be you're going to see a little bit more in terms of our efforts to clean up the village. And so what we're working towards is I'm going to be making an announcement, a proclamation for a cleanup day. It is within the code of ordinance that the village manager is supposed to make an announcement within a newspaper within circulation within Lincoln Heights for cleaning the premises. And so with 844 Beale Street specifically, I know that this is something that our code enforcer is working on. She's kind of like tackling it street by street, like working her way through the perimeter of the village and then working inward. And so it may take a little bit of time, but we are in the process of making sure that all property owners are within code compliance within the village. Okay. So it's going to take some time. We're not going to be able to ticket and then tow vehicles within, a week or two or even a month, because there's several, probably a lot more than 20. But that is something that we're going to be working towards to make sure that the village remains pristine, and the proclamation will have specific information on cleaning the premises. And on May 23rd, the Saturday before Memorial Day, there will be a cleanup day within the village of Lincoln Heights. There will be some marketing that's going to be coming out in the coming days associated with that. And this is going to be in alignment with the cleaning of the premises announcement that's going to be posted within the newspaper and through our communications channels. We're going to have 3 dumpster containers here on site, 2 in the service yard and 1 in the back. And there's going to be a list of items that residents can dump. And we're going to have further communications sent out for that purpose. I'm going to be connecting with our digital marketing consultant tomorrow to kind of discuss what that looks like. But I want to share that with everyone here as it pertains to law and public safety, because we've received several complaints about people dumping illegally within the village. And so we want to make sure we take that very seriously. And we're also going to provide opportunity for residents to, dump their materials within our service yard. And I'll have further information for that specifically as we are moving toward like having that publicly published. But I want to share that with you all as it pertains to code enforcement as well. And that is all that I have for these items that are on the agenda.
All right, so number 7 is miscellaneous, but I think we covered it all. It was a resident complaint regarding Hamilton County Sheriff Officer, and resident complaint regarding the burnt property used as a dump site. So I think that we really covered it all. If anybody has any questions or concerns or comments about these 2 items, please feel free.
I don't know about these, but something that, if I may,
You may.
Councilman Tate had brought something to my attention. Are you ready?
You can go ahead because that was one of the things I was going to add, but go ahead.
Okay, so he was talking about the intersection at Jackson and Chester and how when you're coming off of Jackson, if you're trying to turn left, it's pretty hard to see. And especially now that things are blooming, there's a tree or bush or something that blocks your vision. So someone had mentioned it to him, and to be honest, I've thought about that a few times because I go that way kind of often. So he wanted to bring that up, that there was a resident comment about it, and he wanted to suggest that we look into at least putting a mirror across, so if you're on Jackson facing west, across the street, across Chester Road, so that you could see what's coming from that direction, and people coming south on Chester can see what's coming off Jackson. Even though there's a stop sign, you have to stop and then still pull up. So that was just a suggestion that he had, that we look into that to see if that would be helpful or how else we could make that a little more safe.
Got a question? Is it a public works thing? Do you think that, because I noticed down on Mangum and Bird, the vegetation grows out onto the sidewalk, which means you can't even see the street when you try to pull out. But not only that, the stop sign, I believe, is way too far back from the corner on on Mangum and Bird Street. The stop sign is here, but the curb is here. So you stop at the stop sign and you still have to move up to get to the curb to see up the street, but then you have to move up a little bit more because of the vegetation growing out. I have asked Public Works to try to cut that back. The young man told me that that was not our property, and I said, well, that's your job to keep the vegetation off. You don't have to go up and cut the people's yard, but keep the vegetation off of the sidewalk so people can walk. But I think that stop sign makes absolutely no sense where it sits. I mean, and I don't know who needs to go look at it, but it's way too far back from the corner. You stop at the stop sign and then you got to move up. So technically you don't stop, and then you have to go. But so I think that also is a thing that needs to be looked at. But also getting with Public Works and letting them know where it is and how it is that they should cut and what should be kept cut, because that's important too. If you can't see out because of vegetation, and if it's a private owner thing, then that now goes back to the code enforcement. So we just need to know where our guidelines are.
Yeah. There's certainly some codes associated with overgrowth, especially on the easements. And so I will forward this to our code enforcer. If there are opportunities for us to cite for this, we'll certainly do so. And then from there, if there is like failure to comply, we will have Public Works have Public Works cut back the vegetation, and they'll be assessed a fee associated with that, because I want to make sure that the residents are safe traveling within the village. The residents or any visitors, whoever finds themselves here, want to make sure that they're safe. And so I'll connect with our public works director for this purpose and code enforcement for this purpose on Mangum and Bird. And then the mirror placements, we can certainly make that happen on, you said Jackson and Chester?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll look into getting the materials to have that situated there, so that way people can see when oncoming traffic is coming with any obstruction of, of view, so that way everybody can be safe traveling through the village.
And the other thing, which you already brought up, so as far as Public Works, there has been some yard refuse that was never taken away. Some of it was not done. I can't remember the date that was supposed to be the last day of fall or whatever, when that was supposed to be done, and it wasn't done. And now there has been some vegetation that has been cut back, that's been sitting on the street for over a month now. And I didn't know when we were starting that back up for the year, but it's a lot of it. And now this, I'm talking about on McGee, between Lindy and Chamberlain. McGee, help me out. Y'all get McGee and McIntyre switched the block away from Mango. That's McGee, right? Yes. I don't know why. My whole life I get them mixed up. But yeah, there's some there. But I was just wondering also when the residents can know, since we're now cutting our yards and getting ready for this frost to be over with, so we can plant and all that. When can we, expect them to start picking up?
Yeah, for sure. So with Public Works respective, we've had some staffing changes. We now have, I think we now have 2 additional seasonal employees, and we also have we're getting ready to post some job opportunities with the village within Public Works. And so, not to make an excuse, but we've had fluctuating levels of staffing within Public Works. And so I'm going to connect with our Public Works director, because I know that they have requested, there was a requisition that was recently put in for chipper rental. So that's going to be coming up. I'll pinpoint the dates on that specifically, and I'll share that with council and this committee specifically on when those days are. And that'll be also shared with the residents within our communications on various channels as well. Yep.
Anybody else? Nobody else? All right. Open to public. Does anybody have? There's no one here, so we can move right along. Motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Let's roll.
Finance Committee meeting to order. It is Monday, May 4th, 6:35 p.m.
Roll call. Councilwoman Trina Carter.
Present.
Councilman Norvery Tate. No response. Councilwoman Phyllis Baber.
Present.
Councilwoman Saritha Brown.
Present.
Vice Mayor Durant Daniels. No response. We have 3 who are present. We do have a quorum. There are 2 who are absent. And for the record, Councilman Norvery Tate will not be in attendance for tonight's meeting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't ask anyone. Would anyone like to give a prayer? Mr. Key, would you give us a prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to be here for the finance meeting. We thank you for our life, our health, and our strength. We ask you to help us to be good stewards of the finances of the village. We know these finances are people's hard-earned money, and we want to be good stewards. We want them to feel like they're getting their money's worth. Help us to be good and do what we're supposed to do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Can we have a motion to accept the finance meeting minutes from April 7th? I actually want to stop before we have the motion. Does anybody need to have some time to quickly look through them? I know that might be a little bit different, but do we need to just glance through it first? I think we're good, but I just want to make sure. Okay, may we have the motion to accept the minutes with any necessary corrections?
I second it.
It's been moved in second to accept the meeting minutes from April 7th. We don't have any question in the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, so that has been accepted. That motion was carried. Next, we will move on then to the finance report from March 2026.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This financial narrative provides an overview of changes to the village's cash position across all funds. For March 1st, the initial cash bank balance for the village operating account was $2,145,889.77. The ending cash balance for the village's operating account as of March 31st was $1,655,904.16. On page 1, you'll see the revenue comparison for March of 2026 compared to March of 2025. And as you see, we brought in more money in 2026 than 2025. We also expended more in 2026 over 2025. The specific numbers for 2026, $467,773.52 in revenue for March 2026, over $156,684.43 in 2025. For expenses, we expended $973,611.17 as opposed to $184,057.77 in 2025. If you flip to page 2, you'll see the revenue breakdown and also the summary of the expenses. And you'll see the most significant difference in the revenue is the receipt of about $300,000 more dollars in our construction grants funds in 2026. And then the most significant difference in expenses is the payment of about $750,000 for the Simmons and the Adams Street projects in 2026. In your packet, you should have your fund summary, your revenue summary, and your appropriation summary for March. Additional revenue information on page 3, you'll see our tax collections. Tax collected for February 2026 that was distributed to us in March of 2026 was $72,729.56. And as you can tell, the comparison is only a $394 difference, so it's pretty much on par with where we were last year in March. And you'll see the breakdown of withholder, individual, and net profits that were collected to come up to that $72,000. So you see there's no significant difference in the taxes collected in February over February of last year that was distributed in March. On page 4, you'll see your investment interest collections. In March 2026, the interest earned was $3,448.95 as opposed to 2025 where the interest was $3,895.20. And as you can see, a trend for January, February, and March, our 30-day yield is less in 2026 than it was in 2025, which is netting us a variance of about $1,000 less in interest earned from our Star Ohio account for the first 3 months. So with a beginning shares balance of $1,072,450.71 on March 1st, that interest earning was reinvested and it increased our share value to $1,075,899.66. You also have in your packet the credit card transactions, and for March, the total purchases amounted to $3,334.67. And lastly, you will have your bank reconciliation pack in the packet. And please review that, and that'll show you that we reconciled for March. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions about the finance report? Yes, ma'am.
Maybe silly, but on page number 2, where it says March 2026 revenue summary, March 2026 expense summary. Just seeing the answer. Don't nobody
found
worry about it. I just kept reading. Reading is fundamental. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Okay. Can we have a motion to accept the finance report for March 2026?
Motion.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? I'm sorry, I skipped nay. Any nays? Any abstentions? Ms. Baber, can you make sure you speak into the mic? Because I don't know if Ms. Lisa can hear you.
Madam Chair, did you vote on the finance report? I just heard Councilwoman Saretha Brown. That's only
I
one.
did, but I
didn't hear you. Okay, thank
yes,
you.
ma'am. Okay, that has passed. We have accepted the March 2026 finance report. Now for old business, I'm actually going to turn this over. Well, the first item is the 80th incorporation anniversary celebration. So in finance, what we're specifically looking at is making sure we have money, knowing what monies we have, but also we had talked about making sure we know how to properly request funds. So I'm going to turn that over. No? Okay, I'm going to turn that over to Village Manager Brown.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to acknowledge the fact that we are now in May, and this is very, very quickly approaching. I know that there was some discussion in the previous Finance Committee meeting associated with donations and sponsorships. And so I want to make acknowledgement of the fact that residents, business owners, nonprofits, what have you, they will be able to submit a check or a money order, specifically for Lincoln Heights Community Days as a memo. And if they want their monies to be used for a specific purpose, they can include that within the memo as well. But that will be something that will be added for our purposes. And if people want to make donations via credit card or debit card, that can be processed here on site. We're currently working through how to make that available on our website. That's something we're currently working through, but I know that information was really important for the residents and those that are stakeholders within the village. So people will be able to donate monies through a check or money order for that purpose here, and they'll be given a receipt. But it's important to include notes within the memo that it's for Lincoln Heights Community Days, and if you want it to go to a specific purpose, that you include that within the memo as well. I have legislation drafted. It's not going to be presented within this committee, but on either Thursday or Friday of last week, I received notification of, or I have received the award letter from Hamilton County Community-Based Events Grants. We were awarded $25,000. So the grant that we have written has been awarded for this purpose, and that will go along with the seed money that was included within our appropriations, our permanent appropriations that was approved through council. And so I have a frame of reference that was created during the 75th Jubilee celebration of expected, of all expenditures and all revenues. I can't recall who was the finance director at that time, but the spreadsheet's a little wonky. As I'm going through it, like there's no way we spent almost $1 million for this. So I'm currently working through the spreadsheet because the formulas aren't adding up. So I think a lot of this stuff was manually put in. So I'm trying to work through what is real and what isn't. So that way we can have something concrete as a frame of reference as we're looking to see what expenditures we may incur for the celebration. Yes.
I can also see if I can look through my paperwork for the Lincoln Heights Day that we put on. It was a few years ago or a couple of years ago, whenever it was. We did have the event grant during that time as well.
Yeah. So the spreadsheets that I'm looking at has all of the expenses. There's two separate spreadsheets, all the expenses and then all the revenue transactions within separate spreadsheets. But when I'm looking through it, there's like nothing definitive that says we expended this amount or we received this amount. Because like when I do the formulas, it comes up to like almost $1 million, and I'm like, there's no way.
Well, the sheets that I hope I can pull up for you, it'll show how much we spent for equipment, some rides, performers, things of that knowledge.
Okay. And so Yeah, that'll be greatly appreciated. If you have that, if you share that, that'll be great. So that's what I have right now in terms of the 80th incorporation anniversary celebration. I'm going to be meeting with our digital marketing consultant tomorrow, more than likely, so we can kind of talk about content planning. I'm going to be sharing some information as it pertains to vendor registration. Like there's a form that existed for the 75th, and we're going to get that new form created so that way those that desire to be a vendor for our events will have that on hand here pretty quickly as well.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess that could be action in recreation, but I wanted to know, or I didn't want to know, residents want to know, how do they sign up to get the booths? And will that sign up, when will that sign up be open?
Yeah, and that's actually what I was just talking about with respect to vendor registration.
Oh, okay. So that's, okay, go ahead.
So they'll have access to electric and a tent and some chairs, tables. So working with our consultant to get that marketing and everything.
I understand that.
together.
I didn't know that you were putting that with the vendors. I
Yep.
understand.
So another thing that came up, again, this is from Councilman Tate. He gave a suggestion about a souvenir booklet, and I'm only bringing it up in finance because then that would be a way for us to raise money. If that's a possibility, I don't know if that's something y'all want to do, but he did ask me to bring that up. That's something that he considered. And in our conversation, we were saying, since this is kind of, I think in recreation, I think we're looking at it as a family reunion type situation. So then we could have residents offer pictures, mementos, things like that, to have in the souvenir booklet so people can have it, what's the word I'm looking for? But basically just have it in their families to look back at, look at the history of our family in Lincoln Heights, look at the people here. So that was just something to consider. If we were to do that as a fundraiser, is that a viable thing that we could do? And you don't have to answer right now. Like I said, he just brought it up as a suggestion.
Yeah, that's definitely worth consideration for sure. Compiling all of those materials will certainly take some work. I'll confer with some folks that may have some materials, because I don't know for sure what that may look like in terms of revenue or revenue sharing. So I want to see what that could look like to deploy or to have available for fundraising purposes. So definitely we'll look into that, and I made a note of that for a souvenir booklet as well. So we'll look into that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not as though we do have some great historical photos here within the municipal building, but considering all of the file cabinets and stuff like that, we would have to do a deep search to see what is here on hand, and then also see what is accessible within the community that residents wouldn't mind to share with us. So I'm going to look and see how to operationalize that, but we'll do some digging on that.
Thank you. Anything else about that in terms of finance? Okay, then, Mr. Brown, we just wanted a quick update about the indigent drivers and opioid settlement funds. Have you gotten any updates about that yet?
Yes. So we have been doing some research associated with eligible uses of the Indigent Drivers Fund and opioid settlement funds. For the Indigent Drivers Fund, as part of our research, we have found that we can use it for targeted financial assistance to offer limited financial support tied to compliance milestones such as license reinstatement fees, partial payments of fines to unlock eligibility, and initial auto insurance coverage. Second is vehicle safety repair supports, so assisting with essential repairs required for legal operations, whether that be brakes, tires, lighting, etc. And we can do that in partnership with a local repair shop. Some other eligible uses are insurance access assistance, so connecting participants with affordable insurance providers and support initial policy activation where necessary. What I think is probably the most transformational is required education and treatment programs and facilitating access to mandated courses such as defensive driving or intervention programs. When applicable, leverage state-supported funding streams to offset these costs. And case management, looking at assigning program coordinators to guide participants, track progress, and ensure completion of all requirements. And so these are eligible uses for the Indigent Drivers Fund. And as it pertains to the Opioid Settlement Fund, let me make sure I'm looking at this correctly. So doing some more research on that toolkit that they provided, and I've been in conference with some village managers and neighboring communities on what they've used opioid settlement funds for. And so we are actively working on creating a program for this purpose, so that way we can leverage those dollars within our appropriations for opioid settlement specifically. So still doing research on, I've done a lot of research on indigent drivers eligibility, but need to do some further digging on opioid settlement funds. We have a direct line to, I believe it is Megan Guthrie. She's a director of the Addiction Response Coalition with Hamilton County. And so seeing what has been deployed elsewhere and how we can use that here with the capacity that we have to leverage those funds here for Lincoln Heights. And that is what I have for those two specifically at this point in time. But we are going to be working to create these programs so that way our residents will have access to these resources.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, Vice Mayor, I'm sorry, Village Manager. Did you say the lady's name was Mandy Guthrie from Hamilton?
Megan.
Megan. Okay,
Ms.
thank you.
Guthrie?
Guthrierie. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Ms. Randolph, I'm not sure. Do we need to officially acknowledge Vice Mayor in the records?
I have written in that he arrived at 6:54.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, if there are no more questions, no more old business, we can move on to new business, which, surprise, surprise, Village Manager Brown, that's on you.
Yeah, sure. So included in your packet is the contract for the Metro Transit Infrastructure Funds. This is for round 4 of MTIF funding. This agreement is specifically for Shepherd Lane. It includes all the details associated with the funding. Nothing. I'm sorry. This is round 5. Round 6 has opened up, and we're going to be submitting an application for that prior to the submission deadline on May 30th. But with respect to this agreement, this is for Shepherd Lane and Shepherd Drive roadway improvements. The total project costs, eligible project cost is for $539,946, and the grant funding is up to that amount with 90% reimbursement. And the scope of work includes milling and repaving of asphalt on the roadway, full depth pavement repairs, curb and sidewalk replacement where needed, catch basin reconstruction to match new grades, ADA compliant curb ramps, and drive apron replacements and concrete repairs. And so with these funds, as it is structured, this is a reimbursement-based grant, so the village will pay up front and then submit pay requests to SORTA for reimbursement. and there is a 10% local match associated with that, and 100% of any cost overruns. So, for example, if we have to do a change order for any of these, for anything like, say, a catch basin needs to be fully replaced, or we need to replace the grade on the covering for the catch basin, that will be at the cost of us, the village. And the timeline of construction is to begin within 18 months. So the expected completion date was within August 2027. And with respect to compliance and reporting, there's going to be quarterly and annual reports and a closeout report within 60 days of completion. And so this is part of what we're looking to do within the village as it pertains to roadway safety and drivability. We've received several complaints about potholes within Shepherd Lane and Shepherd Drive, respectively, and the drainage infrastructure as well. So we want to make sure that all these roadway repairs are a benefit to the residents and to the visitors within Lincoln Heights. And this is the contract or the agreement that is before you, and I will happily take any questions associated with that.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
Village Manager, are you who I see about Adams Street knocking my oil pan loose?
So this would be a separate project, but yes, you would come to see me about anything pertaining to any street projects that are happening within the village, and any questions or any concerns. We will raise that both to the engineers and to the contractors associated with that.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir. Vice Mayor.
Just it's always great to hear about potential road improvements. The only question I have, especially when we deal with Shepherd Lane, is just kind of thinking ahead of the game about the traffic, I guess. It's already kind of a little bit jammed up and slow right there. Is there any I mean, and once again, I guess if not, but yeah, is there something that's already been thought about, or a potential way we can let at least our residents know how to detour or work around that if there's any type of jams or slow ups?
Yeah. There will certainly be some. There will be some things in place for freedom of movement and commuting within Shepherd Lane. It will likely have to be some no parking on the street signs, so that way the contractors will be able to get out there and tear up the asphalt that is there currently. The same is also true for like the street aprons and stuff like that. So similar to what you're seeing on Simmons, and I believe Simmons is just about completed. And you'll also see that on Jackson, Adams, Cary, and McGee. We'll have to work with the residents, communicate with them on when things are going to be happening, the timeline in which that'll be occurring. There will likely be some no parking on the street or some signs put out there, so that way the contractors will be able to do their work in a timely fashion.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Oh, please. I defer to
Thank you. I think you were probably about to say the same thing, but so what you're saying is you don't think there would have to be a detour, so the whole street will never just be shut down, because that is the entrance and exit for a lot of people from the highway, right? So what you're saying, it won't be a detour, it would just be them operating.
Let me not misspeak. So this contract hasn't even gone. I mean, like the contract hasn't even gone out to bid yet.
Right.
This is simply accepting the grant award from SORTA, and then the project will go out to bid, and then we'll have the contractors submit plans on how to address commuting on Shepherd Lane, Shepherd Drive. So I don't have that answer at the moment, but I will certainly do some further digging on what that would look like in terms of any potential interruptions within travel on Shepherd Lane, Shepherd Drive.
Madam Chair.
Vice Mayor.
Just one more question on that, and just more so to deal with the a pertaining nuisance that's been taking place in the community, but it deals with the semi trucks, also kind of headed around there as well too. So is that in anticipation, because we always like to speak things into existence, just being able to coordinate with any law enforcement that we have around that time, just make sure they're enforcing our no 18-wheeler
Yes.
rule, especially during that time, I think will be important, because what we don't want to do hustle backwards because big trucks are coming over there and delaying the work that they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be coordinating with our sheriff's office and also the code enforcer as well to issue any violations that may be present. So yeah, we'll be coordinating with them as well.
Thank you.
So on that note as well, as we're looking at the use of these funds, can we look at being proactive about the road itself? I know somebody has said something like, well, can we put a toll booth or something for the trucks that are coming through? But as they, I know, right? But as they actually build, like lay down the street, can we be proactive so we don't have to do it again in 3 years? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
Is that something that we can put out there for whoever looks at the contract, that that's something that we want, something that's durable?
Okay, let me make sure I'm understanding the question.
We don't want a toll booth.
You said toll booth, so I'm like, I just wanted to make sure I understood that correctly.
That was a suggestion that someone made, that if all the 18-wheelers have to have a pass, that they pay the toll, and, you know, it's just something like, can we look into that? But their point was that we have a lot of traffic that would tear up that street.
Agreed.
So can we make sure that the contract, when it goes, like, we're looking for something durable and something that can withstand the amount of traffic we actually get on Shepherd Lane?
Absolutely, yeah. That'll be something that we include within the scope of work, because this is a major roadway that connects Lincoln Heights to I-75, and so we'll certainly include that within the scope of work, so that way we have what we need for that purpose. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good moves.
You said toll booth. I'm like, man, traffic gonna be crazy.
Right.
But yeah.
Get
Yeah.
these lights pick up sometimes.
Okay. Is there anything else on that?
Madam Chair, while we're talking about roads, Magnum, right there at, what's that,
Chamberlain.
where it's all bumpy, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need something done.
Yeah, and there are some streets that have been identified within the village for the next round of Metro Transit Infrastructure Funds. So we're going to be submitting an application for a few other streets, but I'll make sure to include, I don't know for sure if there's like a list of them. I believe Chamberlain is included within that. So I'll make sure to have that as part of our next application as well.
Yeah, and just so you know, that Magnum right there has been fixed on several occasions, but them bumps, for whatever reason, come back. So we need somebody that can repair it.
Is it?
Madam,
Might be another sinkhole.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I think
Councilwoman
that sometimes we are repairing it with not the right type of asphalt because they're weighted. Different types of asphalt is weighted for traffic. So you'll have residential and then you'll have main ways. So I think that they're not repairing it in the right way with the right stuff, because when it heats up, you can tell when people hitting their brakes, that's what's pushing that asphalt back into that lumpiness, because it was smooth when they first fixed it, and then it is pushing back in there. And I don't think that they're fixing it with the right kind of materials, because there's like residential and then high traffic asphalt and things like that. So I think that making sure that they know we know that there's a difference will be important.
It's also been said that there's water underneath our ground, and they're sucking the water from underneath us, which also creates that same thing as well.
Now, that particular place, I can say when they fixed it, and it's been in the last 5 years, the bumps moved from one side of the street to the other. They did.
Okay.
It's in the same lane,
Yeah.
but it was closer
to
to the double yellow.
Yeah.
Now it's closer
over
to the
stop
sidewalk.
sign.
Yeah, and that happened pretty quickly. If you're saying it was smooth, I believe you, but I don't. It happened pretty quickly.
It wasn't for a long time.
Yeah, so now, no matter what, when people come up to that stop sign, we're traveling southbound. when you come to that stop sign, especially Metro, which runs there all day, every day, all day and night, they're bumping all over the place, and the only way you can not is to cross the double yellow. So it used to be all the way in the way. But anyway, that happened recently, so maybe there's something we can even get in contact with whoever did that and question them about it.
Or get a land study right there to see if there's actually a sinkhole there and trying to head it off before it becomes a real problem, if it's a way to head it off.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Vice Mayor?
one more, just last question on when it comes to, you mentioned coordinating with the sheriff's office on the no parking signs and things of that nature. Have we started towing cars by any chance?
Yes.
Okay. And then if cars are being towed, we're providing information on how those individuals get the cars back, right?
Believe so. The stickers should be anytime that we have issued any type of citation.
Yeah.
Those stickers are placed on the vehicle.
Okay.
And it has I believe it's Arise Towing.
Okay.
Off of Anthony Wayne.
Okay.
And that's where those will be able to retrieve their vehicles from the impound. But yeah, all that information should be listed on the sticker.
And last thing, just a note, and I don't want to prolong this meeting longer, but as they were mentioning about the sinkhole, and if anybody else, because it's two of them, and I don't know if they're in parallel with each other, especially as Councilwoman Baber brought up the fact that we do have a water reserve that seems to be doing a lot of work and removing some water. So if they are in parallel of each other, where the one on Wayne Avenue is, if it's in line with the one on Mangum, because that Southwest Water District main pipeline, I believe, runs through that same place. I think there's something to kind of look into. But.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be having some conversations with Southwest Ohio for that purpose and many other purposes as well.
Yep.
So we'll definitely be in conference with them.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's nothing else about that, let's move on to miscellaneous. Does anybody have any miscellaneous business?
I do.
Yes, Councilwoman Baber.
So, manager, I have asked on several occasions about them houses up there that they're doing no work on.
Yes.
What's going on? They're still vacant and
So I actually I'm trying to get a meeting scheduled with them. I believe her name is, so the person that was previously assigned from the port to Lincoln Heights, I believe her name was Miss Deborah Robb. I've been trying to get in contact with them for a little while now. And the port owns several properties within the village that remain vacant or have houses that were under development that remain incomplete, like the ones that you're mentioning. And so we are scheduling a meeting to talk with them about this project being rebid, because it was my understanding that the previous developer on that site specifically fell ill, and for whatever reason, they never rebid the project, which is a little odd. But I believe her name is Miss Liz Eddy from the port, and I've sent some meeting days and times to them. So we're going to be getting some more information about that here very, very soon, and see what the process is and timeline is for rebidding that project to complete them, and then also to have the other vacant lots that they own developed. So we're going to be meeting with them very soon. I've been in conference with them. I think I met with them back in February, just as an introductory meeting. But now we're looking to kind of ramp this up with rebidding that project specifically.
Thank you, Councilwoman, for bringing that up. Anything else?
I believe I mentioned it within the Law and Public Safety Committee meeting, but just so that way I bring it up here, we are in receipt of the Hamilton County Community-Based Events Grant to the tune of $25,000. I wanted to share that with you all in Finance Committee meeting as well, for the record, so that way there's going to be legislation that is going to be presented within the meeting on May 11th. I'm going to share the materials associated with I just got it on, it was like Friday afternoon. I know there's a specific timeline by which we need to have certain materials submitted for these purposes, but you all will be able to receive a copy of the grant agreement and the legislation that's going to go before council on May 11th. The objective would be to pass it so we can receive the money, so we can go ahead and get things started with planning for the 80th anniversary.
Yes, sir. Okay, do we have any public comments? You want to say something? When you come up to the mic, just state your name and your address.
Hi. Juanita Jones, and I stay at 635 Jackson Street. This is the first meeting I ever came to. I've been trying to get down here all my life since I've been up here, really. But Lord doing some new things in my life, so now here I am today. But anyway, I have an issue where people are like dumping their waste yard on the side of my house, where I believe that's Carey and Adams, like where that big old reservoir place is, because my backyard is right there. They're just dumping all of their stuff there, and it looks so tacky. And I done had enough of it. And then I have children that love to go outside and play. I don't allow my children to just be on electronics. I'm old school. Go on, get outside and play. Let's do this double jump or, Jackson ball, stuff like that, tether ball. But we be outside playing. And I have issues. It's not just, cars. It's trucks, business trucks that just come zooming and flying down Jackson Street. And I be like, is it really that serious? You can't be too much in a hurry like that. It's a lot of children that do be playing outside around there, and that's a concern of mine too. And I called before a couple of years ago, and I had asked, like, is there anything that we could do, put down some speed bumps or something? Because you could see clear as day. It's 25 miles per hour, and I even think that's a little bit too fast when you got children out here that's playing. And that's why I put up a fence. I did get the permit and everything. That's what was one of the main reasons I put up a fence around my house, so I keep my little children in the yard and stuff like that. But sometimes, even though they ride them bikes on the sidewalk, still, accidents do happen. They be flying. Maybe they swerve, hit something. Ain't no telling what can happen. It just makes me nervous, makes me scared, and I just want to put my concern out there.
Thank you.
Village Manager.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Jones. I have the address and the site that you mentioned as far as like dumping and patrolling for speeding, and we can certainly look to have some remedies for that as well.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, Vice Mayor.
and just for the record as well, I'm sure you're aware of this as well, Village Manager, and Councilwoman Baber can attest to this as well too. I know Councilwoman Baber mentioned this. The fact that we're Hamilton County Sheriffs, one of the part of the agreement when we first did it was certain amenities like those rubber removable bumpers, speed bumps. The issue at the time that other council members were saying is that they had to deal with the bus route. Now, obviously, since then, you've had the ones down Reading Road that I know Councilmember Baber has mentioned before, and there's the other ones that's coming up through Avondale as well, too. So in the meantime, while we still have this contract with Hamilton County Sheriffs, and I know this has been an issue for at least 8 years I've been on here, I'm just hearing it. I'm sure it's been going on for decades. If we could at least get those removable rubber speed bumps, thank you. I think that'd be beneficial.
Yes, Councilwoman Brown.
Question. I think I'm going back to the rubbish that she says, and it's always there. It is. What does Public Works ride around in that truck for? If it's not to clean up the things that's piled up. It doesn't, I don't think that trash, if it's on the curb, that should be for the Public Works to remove, right? Because it's not in anybody's yard. It's there on the curb, right at the stop sign. Like it's there. So, and I see them riding around. I don't know their actual range of motion, but is that a thing that they should be looking for as they ride around?
Yeah, that's a great question as it pertains to trash removal. So we have Rumpke, however, as it pertains to like large items, just random people dumping in people's yards. We do have staff that are going around to clean up the village, to take care of all the trash and stuff like that within our public facilities like Serenity Park and Memorial Field Athletic Complex. And so they are also assigned to take care of specific zones. And as I shared in the previous meeting, the Law Public Safety meeting, we've had some staffing changes, some staffing shortages that has arisen in the past couple of months. And so for us, I have contracted with People First Staffing. We now have 2 additional full-time equivalents that's going to help with seasonal work. So that way our current staff can take care of pothole patch and mowing of the vacant yards. But a part of that also includes removal of trash. And so I'll make sure to raise this to our Public Works Director's attention. So I appreciate you all sharing this information because I want to make sure that we are being very diligent in removal of junk and waste.
And how can we, residents, report when we see things? Because we see things because we're around the village, obviously, but in case we miss certain things, how can the residents report what they're seeing or if they see dumping, things like that?
Yeah, so there are a couple of different ways, but all of it kind of points to GovPilot. And there is report of concern that you can have through GovPilot on our website. It is, if you go to vlho.org and select e-forms, you'll be able to report a concern that way. And then also there is an application for a mobile application for GovPilot where you'll be able to report a concern. It's called Gov Alert, and you will be able to drop a pin on a specific location and report a concern. And this is available through Apple operating system and Android operating system. You can report a concern through that, or you can drop in and fill out a report a concern form. I want to make sure to mention that if you include your email address in that report of concern, you will receive an automated message from the system that will share, hey, we received your concern. And then from that, you'll also receive status updates on when it's in progress and when it's been closed out. So we have an outfit of tablets for our code enforcer and for our public works team to go out there and receive their assignments, take photos of what they're seeing as they are going to work on whatever concern that they're looking at, and photos of the job being completed. And so those are the ways in which reports of concern can be addressed. But I will make sure to mention that we have received several reports of concern that are anonymous with no contact information. As we are doing further reporting to council, all of the reports of concern that have names on it will be anonymous. All of their contact information will be anonymous to protect the identity of the residents that are raising concerns. But it's important that people list their contact information so that way they can get updates in real time of what's happening with their concerns.
Madam Mayor.
Chair.
Chair.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Councilwoman Brown.
Hey, Chair, Madam Chair. This question I think is for you, Gaines. Do we know how often our public works director or supervisor actually supervises? Because you can give a person a task, but if they know you're never coming to check to see if it's done, is it really done? Because I watch a lot of public, no, I'm gonna say not a lot. I've watched a public works person stand around and do absolutely nothing for a long time. I've approached them because you don't know who's watching you, who sees you. So it's important that you do your job. However, if the supervisor is not supervising and they know that that's not going to happen, then they're less likely to really be working the 8 hours that they are here for.
That's a great question, great commentary. I know that my public works director does issue assignments through GovPilot. Some of these assignments are given verbally after those assignments have been completed. And I do know that he rides around in the village to verify that certain work has been completed. I won't dive deep into like personnel actions or anything like that. However, our public works director does provide supervision, especially to the new staff that are going to be coming on temporarily for seasonal assistance. And I appreciate you raising that to my attention. I'll be in conference with our public works director for that purpose. Won't mention any names at this point in time, but I'll certainly love to hear more about what you're seeing, what you're hearing, for sure.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Vice Mayor.
One last thing is going to be a quick question. When in regards to, we did say we're hiring seasonal help. Is that is that application on the website as well too, or just all physical applications?
So our seasonal help has been temporary assignments.
Oh, you already got it? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with respect to further staffing for the village, there will be some positions that will be posted. Currently working through the job descriptions because, I'm seeing that there is not much record of anything that is uniform. So working through that with our public works director to make sure that we have what we need in the description that we need before it goes out. Also, just in case people are unaware, there is a job opening for public works part-time custodian position. It is listed on our website. If you click the About section, there will be a portion on there where you see employment opportunities. And if all those that are interested, encourage you to submit an application. All the details are listed within the description itself or on the document on the website. So I want to make sure to share that that is out there currently and that there will be further opportunities with the village here soon. I was currently working on descriptions and stuff like that at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Jones. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Absolutely, ma'am. Okay, announcements. I'll let everybody else go first, and then I'll go last. Anybody have announcements? Councilwoman Brown?
I thought I gave it to you.
Oh, you did. Go ahead.
Respect My Block tomorrow at 6:30. We're asking that the residents and anybody that want to participate in the Lincoln Heights 80th celebration of our, our
Incorporate.
corporation, yes, our 80th anniversary of our corporation, to come out at 6:30, please.
Madam Chair, if I may, I shared this announcement within the previous meeting, but I want to share it for those that may be tuned in to this meeting specifically regarding an announcement to clean premises. So as required by the Code of Ordinances, the village manager is supposed to make an announcement proclamation for residents to clean the premises. This will be shared in, I believe, the Cincinnati Enquirer, and also through our communications channels with specific instructions for residents. We're working to beautify the village, and I believe that there will be the time frame is for 30 days for residents to get into code compliance. As it pertains to that specifically, we are in process of deploying our code remediation program. We are putting the finishing touches on the application that will be shared on our website and also available. There's going to be an announcement for that as well. But there's going to be a cleanup day within the village on May 23rd. And there's going to be 3 dumpster containers that will be here within our service yard and in the lot right next to the building, or right outside of Public Works where the sheriff's park, right next to the recycling bin. So that way residents will be able to dispose of any large materials like furniture. There will be a dumpster specifically dedicated to tires, but there's also going to be a list of items that we're going to communicate with residents that we aren't able to put in the dumpsters, but there will be assistance for residents to be able to dispose of their items. And we're currently working through the intake form, because I want to make certain that those that are dumping materials actually live here or reside here. So I want to make that announcement here as well. So that way those that are tuned in will be able to have that. There's going to be more communications that come out, working with our consultant to have some flyers shared, and maybe some flyers, some physical copies, so that way we can share that with residents as well.
By the way, I didn't see the flyer myself, but the last council meeting, I believe it was, someone actually came up to me and asked me, "Oh, what's going on?" They saw the flyer that's posted in Centennial. They said they had never noticed it before. So I don't know if it looked different or if it was in a different place, but someone did ask me about it, so it was effective. So I just want to point that out, because Councilwoman Brown has mentioned, not everybody's on social media, but we have those pieces of information around the village for anybody that wants to know whatever we're doing, what meetings are happening when. So thank you. Vice Mayor, do you have anything?
No announcements at this time.
Okay, I have several announcements, but I'm going to go fast. First, I wanted to make sure that all residents know. Some people have asked me about Rita. I know the tax deadline has passed, but still we want to get our taxes done. If you've received anything from Rita, it is legitimate. It is something that needs to be done. I can say that now. It is definitely legitimate. So take care of it. Don't throw it away. Open it up and read it, and get your taxes taken care of. Tomorrow is the day for voting, so we still want to get everybody that's possible. If you can get out to the polls and vote in the primaries, and we have some judges and some other things that need to be voted on, and of course the governor is coming up, so we want to make sure as many people as possible. Also, we've been hearing rumors that people who voted in the last election might have been kicked out. You want to make absolutely sure that you are ready to vote. So don't miss tomorrow if you have not early voted already. Economic development meeting is coming up 2 weeks from today, so that will be May 18th. If you've heard any rumors about what's going on with the land use plan and you want to know for sure, this meeting that is coming up is the time to come. That meeting, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, what time is that meeting? 6:30? 5:30. 5:30. 5:30 on May 18th, right here. And lastly, on May 6th, the day after tomorrow, there's a community impacts
Recognition.
thank you, recognition, and I'm actually going to let you say it because you have the flyer in front of you and I don't.
Oh, please. It's a impact day, community impact night, honoring Princeton High School boys and girls state basketball teams with Princeton cheerleaders. It's from 6 p.m. Starts at 6 p.m. We do have a guest speaker and community leaders. So Mr. Dwight Farley would like for all of our council and community to come out and support his community impact night.
And Woodland.
Where is
I'm
this
sorry,
gonna be
I'm
at?
sorry, the location, I thought. The location is Woodlawn Center, Community Center. So I guess that's the Woodlawn Rec. 6 p.m., May 6th. There will be free state champion T-shirts to the first 100 kids. I guess I should have read further. Free pizza for everyone and music by DJ On Deck.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements? If not, can we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.